Hello, everybody. Good morning. What's up, Shaq? Good morning. We have a little uptrend on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. Morning, Matt. Traders and faders. Does that mean a fader is the opposite of a trader? Thank you, Matt. I'm glad you enjoyed that explanation on the Discord. Those failed second entries are tricky, for sure. I like that, Jesse. Frick, again. Direction eventually reversed. That does sound like trying to fade the market. Alright, so S&P is pulling back. We do technically have our first entry right here. And yeah, I mean, obviously you get an uptrend. We want to take a long. But we're coming right off that resistance, so that makes it slightly sketchy. Not that I won't take the trade, but you got to be aware of that. That makes it to where it's maybe not going to work. But we'll see. If it looks good, we can't ignore the setup. Have to take it. Hey, Toad, good morning. I don't think so. I don't think so. I could be wrong, though. Squid, what's up? Good morning. Morning, Johnny. Hey, Tom. Good morning. Yeah, it's good to see you back. Hopping over to our good buddy NQ. Also has a nice uptrend and not quite at that swing high. I mean, we're in the general vicinity, right? So we do have to be careful of all this action, but we're not quite there yet. We get a nice pullback in a second entry. I like along there. Oh man, Tom, yeah, it was some other folks in the chat are we're also going through the hurricane. Must be in Houston. Man, Houston, you guys just get rocked with a hurricane like every couple of years, man. Or some sort of power outage. It just seems like your power's always out over there. Ice storm, hurricane, whatever it is. Hey, morning, Jeff. It's been a minute. Also, morning, Anita. I forgot to say what's up to you as well. Good to see you. Anyone else I missed? Hey, Cricket. Hey, Gene. Dude, Jeff, that's awesome. I've always wanted to go to... I've never been to Zion or Moab, but I've always wanted to. This pullback on the S&P is looking pretty good. See if it can continue doing what it's doing. What's up, Sax guy? Good to see you. That's cool, Jeff. That's super cool. Yeah, the heat doesn't bother me. It's hot where I live right now, too. I'm down with the heat. I'm down with the heat. As long as there's some sort of water around, you know? River or something. Then the heat's no problem. Shayak, right now on the Nasdaq, I'd be more interested in buying on a pullback. So we still have this uptrend in play, but if this uptrend plays out, like if we get a little move, a break out of the channel, move up, then I'd be interested in selling. Coming down like this, that's a pattern I'd be interested in selling. Move up, break new high, right at resistance, and then coming down, and I'd be looking for a sell right there. Morning, AOD. ES is really dang close to an entry here. Morning, Neil. Yeah, keep a close eye on the S&P here. This could set up nice. Again, we are coming off resistance, so that makes it's less than ideal because of that, but still will be worthy of a consideration. Yes, Toad. Apex did extend the sale, so you still got that great deal, 80% off all accounts. The 150K, the 250K, the 350K are all even more discounted. You get any one of those for $40. For 300K, that's like 93% off. Comfortably numb. What's up, man? So, daddy needs lunch money. Well, not trading stocks, so nothing's gonna see 300% today. We're scalping the indices. But if you're playing stocks, I mean, hey. Get a scanner on, look for some high relative volume. You might be able to find some crazy stuff. But if you'd rather, you know, keep your heart rate a little bit lower and make some good money scalping the S&P 500, this is the place for you. Alright guys, it's about vitamin and water 30 according to my clock. Still keeping one eye on the market here, as again this could be a decent long setup on the S&P. And what do we have for news too? Let's see. Okay, so Powell's testifying yet again today. Second day of that. Papa P. And then we do have a bond auction later this afternoon, but other than that, we're news free. Tomorrow and Friday are the bigger news releases that the market's waiting for. CPI tomorrow. CPI Friday. Come on, S&P. Get back down there. Hey, Wilson. Good morning, sir. Boy, the Nasdaq just looks frozen in time. So does the S&P. Just nice move up all night, and now we're just stalling out. I had to check my chart. I was like, wait, is it frozen? Looking down at this tick counter, I mean, not a lot of orders coming through. Interesting. I wonder if people are waiting for Powell's testimony. Nasdaq is the same in that way. It's just kind of hanging out here. That makes sense, Jesse. That makes sense. We got 4 minutes till the market open here. I'm reloading the data on my S&P chart currently. Already reloaded the Nasdaq, so it should be good to go. Yeah, this would be the second entry on the S&P, but we're still too far from the EMA, so I am not interested. I need to see a bar right around here, kind of resting with the body like that. We haven't even tested the EMA, so you know, this could easily go down here still. We don't know if the EMA will act as support yet until it does. Hey, morning, Daryl. Right, market is open. See how this looks here. If we test the EMA and get a nice bullish bar, might have to take it. We still do not have our second entry. You'll see this is the, oh yeah, now we do. First, this was the only time that the market went higher than the previous bar. Now, this is the second entry, but again, we're not touching the EMA. So I want to see one more little move back. And the Nasdaq. It all kind of looks like a double top, so I'm going to start the count over, really. This looks like it wants to go down here. Moving up, we didn't even get a chance on that one. Nasdaq is shooting up. Starting to look really choppy on the Nasdaq. We're gonna have to restart our count again here. Basically, double top, and we actually technically have a new high there. So just kind of a mess. Doesn't even look good. Hey Carlos, good morning. Alright, the S&P never actually made a new high, so we still could consider a trade here. Again, right at resistance, it's not ideal, especially with the Nasdaq putting in big bearish bars like this. But yeah, now the Nasdaq's really dropping, so we'll see what happens on the ES here. Nice, Shia. Good play, good play. This is exactly what I said earlier on the Nasdaq when Shayak was asking me about a sell. I said, move up, break new high, and then move down. I bet if you took a screenshot of my previous drawing, it would fit exactly that. Hey Ash, good morning. Alright, well I still could be interested in a long on the S&P. I now need to see a push above the EMA and a higher low right here. I don't think that's going to happen. It seems to me that we might be headed down, but we will see. We will see. See if we can get above that EMA. I don't think so because the Nasdaq is dropping. It will probably bring the S&P down with it here in a minute. Okay, cool. We're starting to get above the EMA. If we can get a nice close up here, and then again a higher low, I'd be interested in that. Yeah, back below the EMA. This bar doesn't turn around, we can kind of abandon the idea of a long. Again, we're coming off resistance. So that's what I was saying initially. You got to be careful of longs right here. You're wondering why it wouldn't work out. Well, there you go. Coming right off of the high of yesterday. We also have a gap too. Let me mark that out on the chart. Hold on, gotta fix the black screen of death here. There we go. Got a downtrend working. And here is our gap down below. It's a solid 8.5 points. We also never filled the gap from yesterday, I believe. Maybe we did at the end of the day. We were pretty close. Might be good enough to consider filled. Yeah, Toad, if you had this channel drawn really narrow, that's your overshoot right there. That would have been Toad overshoot winner. Nasdaq continues to drop. So if we can survive this move down, again, you know, this is just like yesterday. We gapped up to an all-time high. Now we're checking the bid a little bit. If this can stabilize and hold and start building a base, we can start switching our bias. heavily to the long side, and we might get like a gradual kind of grind. That is a high possibility. Over on the Nasdaq, this little downtrend that we were looking at likely played out, moved down, break new low. So I'd be interested in some sort of long. Failed second entry short would be great. Kind of high up already for that to form. So more likely a move up into here and then a second entry long. What I'm looking for on the S&P, or sorry, the Nasdaq. And similar here on the S&P. I would like to see this downtrend actually get a new low. But still could work. We still could get a failed second entry right here, or a little bit of a higher move and a second entry long. That's what I'm looking for. This might be our first attempt to go lower here. This will draw in some shorts for sure. Strong move below the EMA. A little bit more selling pressure coming into the market on this one. However, the Nasdaq is still strong thus far, staying above the EMA, and we already do have a little attempt lower actually. You can see it right here. Market went down just a little bit. That drew in some sellers. Some people got filled there on some sell orders. We'll see what this bar looks like. If it can come down, draw in some more sellers, but then end in a nice bullish hammer. I like it. Nasdaq launching up. Not even giving us a chance there. Nice, Jesse. Glad you got that one. Good, yep. Walk away. Break the wrist, walk away. There's our push up on the S&P. No real setup. The Nasdaq, if we can pull back right here, that would be brilliant. We have not yet reached the new high there. This would be the perfect area for a pullback. This will be an A+ setup if we can get it. Looking for that right there. Well guys, as we're waiting for a setup, make sure you hit that like button if indeed you do like the stream. Got 40 people, only like 17 likes. Abysmal start to the day. Here we go. Nasdaq starting to pull back just like I wanted. A big thing in trading consistently profitable, that is you need to envision the setups that you want before they even happen. So you should always be looking at a chart and be thinking, okay, here's what I need the market to do to convince me to enter. Just like I did here. Like, hey, right here, I need to see a pullback, 2 legs to the EMA, and this is the bar that I want. So if I get that pattern, I'm not going to have to hesitate in taking it. I'm not going to have to think about it. If this shows up, I'm long, right? And if it doesn't, if we get something different, if this pullback just plummets through the EMA and we get something like that, I have no problem skipping out because I'm like, okay, this isn't doing what I need it to do. Yeah, little tidbit there. Always be envisioning what you want the market to do before it happens. As they say, plan the trade and trade the plan, right? Jinx, AOD, jinx. We got the new high on the Nasdaq. We did not get the pullback that we needed to enter. We have not made the new high on the S&P yet, so I would be looking for the same kind of thing. Doesn't look as clean as the Nasdaq, but I'd still be interested. Pullback. 2 clear legs. Bullish bar at the EMA. If we get that, I'm going to be in. Nasdaq is dropping a little bit, and we do have to watch this. You know, if we're looking for long on the S&P, we don't want the Nasdaq to start just tanking. And this could be a potential spot where it does drop down. We had this uptrend. It had a break. We were waiting for a new high. We got that new high right here. So after you get a break and a new high of a channel, market will correct or reverse, and we got the correction so far. This could turn into a reversal. We'll find out soon. So that does play into the validity of a long on the S&P, because both of the indices are connected. So if we're looking to go long right here when the other indice is correcting or reversing, not going to go very well. So we want to see some stability on the Nasdaq, while also getting the setup that we're looking for on the S&P. This is the kind of analysis you guys need to do if you're looking for setups, especially if you're trading either the S&P or the Nasdaq. You need to look at the other indice. Just like if you were trading stocks, and you were trading Tesla, for example, you're going to want to look at the other tech stocks. You're going to want to look at QQQ. You always want to be looking at correlated markets. There's the first entry on the S&P there. See if we can get that second entry we're looking for. Pullback. First attempt to go higher. One more pullback. One more nice bull bar, then maybe we can get to that new high. Pretty decent looking setup on the Nasdaq if we hadn't just reached a new high. Second entry right at the EMA. Nice bullish bar, but coming off of a new high, that's not a great setup. You want to wait because we don't have a trend that's in play. If we got a higher low here, that'd be enough confirmation to go for it. And if the Nas keeps going higher, we're going to have to look for perhaps a secondary channel, maybe a wider one, something. We'll see. Pending still on that. Good morning to those just dropping in. What's up? What's up? Welcome everybody. Good call, Johnny. Yep, we do have Powell testifying here in T-minus 5 minutes. Did Powell's speech affect the market yesterday? Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. We zoom back. That was right around here. So if you were watching these bars print on, sorry, you're not seeing my drawing. If you were watching these bars print live, they actually did form pretty fast. So it may not look like much in retrospect, but you know, this drop happened very quickly. Same with this one. So yeah, I would say his speech, you could see the volatility as the bars were printing. So we'll see if that happens again today. I don't think he's going to say anything novel and exciting, but you never know. Yeah, Daryl, he put on his range tie yesterday. Let's see what tie he's got on today. Maybe we can get a red tie. You know, he had the blue tie energy last time. Got a new high with the blue tie, so there's got to be something there. We do have to reset the count here, as this is the new swing high. So always starting the count from the high. We still need 2 legs back. For those of you who did not hear earlier, Apex did extend their sale. Looks like 21 more days. So till mid-August. And yeah, I would say this is probably the best sale they've ever done. If you look on their website, it just says 80% off, but that's not telling the whole story, because the 150K, 250K, and 300K accounts are doubly discounted. So it's $40 for any of those. That equals 93% off of the top one there. We still have 1 day to pass and discounted activation fees. So super good deal. Now we have 21 more days to enjoy it, ladies and gentlemen. All right, there's the new high on the S&P, so no longer super excited to go long. The uptrend has officially played out. Move up, break new high. So this is when we would expect the market to correct or reverse, especially at this resistance level. Martin, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the stream. All that kind of information is in the, what do you call it? The description of the video. But it is a tick chart. It's not a time frame chart. It's a 2000 tick chart. Yes, and then on the Nasdaq, it's a 1500 tick. Thanks, Jesse. So this is a pretty bullish move here on the market. Again, we gapped up to this new high, right? Here's where we closed yesterday. Here's where we opened today. This is an all-time high. And so far, sellers haven't been able to test the bid too much. This is a pretty weak bid test, if that's what that was. So now that this uptrend is played out, this is going to be the telling point here. Sellers will take another stab at going down, but if that gets bought up, we're going to be bullish. So look for this next correction to tell you a lot of information about the rest of the day. Depending how deep we go, that's going to give you some info. So again, if we get some solid bear bars and starting to look good, and then all of a sudden we drift up again, very bullish sign, and we're gonna pretty much stick only to the long side, maybe even find a secondary channel like this. If we come down past this swing low, okay, we might even consider a short to get to that gap fill. But we'll see. Sellers haven't really been able to give it an attempt yet. Except this, but that's kind of weak. They'll try again. Still grinding higher here, especially on the S&P. It's looking pretty dang strong. And we may never get that bid check. We may just continue to drift higher, and I'm fine with that. I'll be looking for some longs if that's the case. Still grinding up here, folks. And it appears that Powell's testimony not really doing much to the market either. Kind of to be expected. This is the second day. It's not like he's going to come out with some new revelation on the second day, right? That he didn't say yesterday. And the next news we have after this is going to be this afternoon. Again, we have the bond auction. So 1 p.m. Mark that on your calendars. Those can kind of come out of nowhere and you're like, why do we have this giant red bar here in the middle of the day? Mark that out. You'll thank me later. Ash, that would be the bond auction at 1 p.m. I'm not saying it's going to be a red bar, but I'm saying because that news item is just kind of randomly interspersed in the day, it can kind of come as a surprise. So just make sure it's on your calendar. Still charging higher, guys. This does have the look of just an all-day grinder. which is fine with me. Fine with me. If you can find a good entry, it's the kind of day you can just ride. Build up a good cushion, set your stop at break even, come back in a few hours. That's what they called you in high school. Well, these days are a little bit challenging in a certain way. It always feels like it's gonna reverse, and I'm not saying that this is the day we're in yet. We're not quite there yet. Sellers still have a chance to do, you know, to make another run for it to the downside. But if we get that kind of grinding day up, very hard, because it always seems like it's gonna reverse. Never does. And also you don't get very deep pullback, so you're waiting on a setup at the EMA, and you know, prices will just kind of come, barely touch it, and then continue on their way. But very hard to trade. The NAS is also still just crawling up there. Again, we might have some sort of secondary channel forming. This is melt your face off price action if not careful. Totally agree. Totally agree. Yeah, you don't want to trust the long too early and then end up with a huge correction bar. You need to make sure, first of all, that you are in that grind up. And for me personally, I need one more bearish correction. I need one more chance to judge how the sellers are going to be able to move the market. Because again, we just had this move up. That's one trend, break new high. I think this is probably close to a measured move, so no, not quite. But either way, we had that trend, it has played out, so now we need to see what sellers can do. Once I see that, if I see sellers come down and nothing happens with it and we're back above the EMA, at this point, that's when I'm going to know that it's a slow grinding bullish trend kind of day. And then, yeah, it's just about trying to find an entry and riding as long as you can. Yeah, Daryl, totally. Fading back to the EMA only works in mixed trading kind of days where market's up and down and back and forth. But if you tried to play a trade back to the EMA on any sort of trending day, it's not going to go well. Big bar there on the Nasdaq. So here we go. We're going to get to see what the sellers can do. This is exactly why I said we need to wait for the bears to try something. You got in too early, said, oh yeah, it's going to be a trend day, I'm just going to ride this out. All of a sudden you're hurting. In order to have those grind up kind of days, or grind down, the other side has to have a fair chance to try move the market. And that's the tell. Once they are unable to do that, then you know, you got to give them that chance first. So Powell is talking right now, and this is the Q&A time, so this could get interesting. This might be where some stuff starts to move. This is a bearish cross on the 1OP, so also another sign that we could correct for a little bit. If we keep our channel super tight, this may be where it's played out and we continue higher, which would make sense for some sort of secondary channel. But I'm not going to be playing that to long side. I really need to see confirmation. I hope we continue up. I think that would be the easier pattern to trade for the day. Spotting just in case we have a wider trend here. Wider downtrend should look something like this. Okay, so here's an early indication of what's going on, guys. Move down. Move down, break new low, and now we may be pushing above the EMA. That's buyers stepping up. And if we continue to drift higher from here, that's going to be it for me. And I'm going to be only looking on the long side. Possible higher low developing here. Man, oh man, this is some slow price action, guys. I don't think we're going to be going anywhere fast. NQ above the EMA. ES currently below. I believe they are both above their VWAPs. Yeah, they both currently are. Battle at the EMA. This would basically be a second entry short here on Nasdaq. I don't think you want to short into this potential trend line. AOD asking me, do I watch RTY? Do I watch YM? So that'd be the Russell and the Dow or the Big Seven. Yeah, for sure. However, that's all reflected here. All of the Big Seven are reflected in this chart and in this chart. So I don't think you're gonna gain a whole lot of information from picking out one of the Big Seven stocks, for instance. Like if I'm going, oh man, Tesla's just skyrocketing. I mean, that doesn't mean that all of a sudden the Nasdaq's gonna follow Tesla. So this, I think, the Nasdaq's probably your best way to really look at the Big Seven. Yeah, because this is their collective performance basically. And the Russell's not really correlated too much. So you can trade it. But I wouldn't say that it's correlated in the same sense of like, oh man, the Russell's going up, so the S&P has to go up. I mean, that's just not the case. And then the Dow, the Dow just doesn't have a lot of volume, so I don't really like to trade it. I don't really watch it. It doesn't mean much to me. But the Russell's fun to trade. I like to trade that from time to time. And, you know, I trade stocks too, so of course I'm looking at the Magnificent Seven. But I don't think I'm not basing futures trades off of that. We're getting a little bit of follow through selling, so this is giving us some more info. I don't think yeah, I mean, this is really the turning point here, because now we do have this move down, clear break, clear, almost new low. Once we get the new low, this is where we're gonna have to see what the market does. That's gonna be the pivotal moment. Do we go above the EMA, continue higher, or do we waffle around and go lower? This is where we're gonna know if we have a grinding trend day or not. It all comes down to this, guys. If we don't bounce from here, we can expect kind of rangy, mixed action. Same on the ES. This is the moment. This move down had a break in a new low. Right here is the pivotal point. Are we going to bounce from here or not? We are now below the VWAP on SPY and QQQ. Now, if you're really bold, no, I'm not even going to say it. I'm not even going to say it. I was going to say, hey, you can really, you know, try to anticipate one way or the other, right? Because since this is an inflection point, you know, if your bias is one way or the other, this is going to be the start of potentially a pretty big swing. But it is much better always to confirm rather than anticipate. Anticipating gets us in trouble. So don't listen to me on that one. I'm just, look, the market's not doing much. I'm just spitballing here, right? Talking about theoreticals. One for the degenerates, yeah. You gotta throw the degenerates a bone every once in a while. Tom as a degen, I appreciate it. Turning down at the EMA here. I'll take a short on the Nasdaq if we get one more test at the EMA that fails. I don't know that we're going to get the chance here, but if we do, I'm officially interested in that setup. One more rejection at the EMA will show us that sellers are in control. And if we get a bearish bar, I'll trade that to the short side. Looks like we might get a new low before that happens. Yep, there's the new low. On the ES, I'd consider it. It's not quite as clear, I'd say, on the Nas as on the Nasdaq. But yeah, one more rejection at the EMA, I'd consider a short. Come on, S&P. This is the last chance, I think, for a setup here for a while. We can get up to that EMA, reject it one more time with a bearish bar. I'd be interested in that short, especially with the Nasdaq still going down. Come on, S&P. Give us something here. Nasdaq moving up. S&P moving up. This is going to be our chance, potentially. I'd consider a short on the Nas too if it rejects at the EMA. But it looks like it's going to bounce. I think we're going to get a bounce here. Trying to keep my expectations low so that I'm pleasantly surprised if something good happens. I agree, Jesse. It's going to be slow until it isn't. All right, here we go on the Nasdaq. We're at the EMA finally. Have our first entry. We're just waiting for our second entry. See if this bar turns around. Closing above the EMA, not a great sign for our shorts. Probably wait for a lower high. Pretty good bearish bar there, but it's an inside bar. That's a real bummer right there. I wish that bar had ticked higher. That's all I was looking for. One little tick higher and then a reverse instead of this. Man, bummer, bummer. I mean, not a bad bar to take a chance on. You know, it's still pretty big, still a good looking bearish bar, but you know, personally, I like it to tick higher first, draw in a few more longs, and then reverse. We still have a chance for the lower high. We're just about at a new low, so not going to be able to take this. Bummer. Okay, well, that was the setup I was looking for. Didn't quite form, but it is all good. There will be more setups. Again, 1 p.m. today is the bond auction. Be cognizant of that. Apex sell extended. Take advantage of that. And I will see many of you over in the Discord for the rest of the day. We're going to snipe some setups and find some good stuff. I'm looking forward to that. So if you're not part of that community, there is a link in the description. Would love to see you over there. Best trading community on the World Wide Webs. And yeah, anywho, thanks guys. Appreciate it. Catch y'all tomorrow.